All right, in this chapter, we're going to talk about the sales assistant and three functions it can serve for helping a dealer. Specifically, when you're trying to look up information for a customer, when you're comparing models, and even from a learning aspect. Maybe you're a new salesperson and you're trying to find out information about units that you're either selling or selling against. So let's take a look at how we can use this tool. If you have the correct permissions, you'll see the sales assistant tile located under any of the modules. Once I click it, it's going to land me here and where I'm going to see a list of inventory items. So maybe I'm a CF Moto dealer, right? And a customer is coming in and they want to ask about a Z Force 10 and they want to know, information about it. What's the weight? What's this and that? So I can click that. I can come here. I can give them information. Oh, the dry weight's 2105. And they might say to me, well, how does that compare to? Right? Oh, that's a good question. So if you want, you can compare to inventory items or models. So maybe I don't sell a particular um, Polaris vehicle or something along those lines. I can come here, say show more. I can come down, find Polaris in my list. Let's get down here. I got a lot of brands in my list here. So I can go to Polaris and I can say 2025 and I can look for a list of models that I want. Let's find something outside the snowmobile side. Let's look at this utility vehicle. So then we can do a side by side here. Maybe it's not exactly the same vehicle, but this is what the customer wants us to compare it against. So here we could see side by side. We could say, front and rear hydraulic discs on CF Moto. We could say the same thing, but here we have dual bore front and rear calipers. So again, you can see how you can compare information here and learn a little bit about either product from that side. We could also print a brochure for either one of these models from here. And again, we could create a lead, which could really save us in the process. Again, this is early in the desking process. Now we can also look up things like promotions. So maybe that same dealer wants to know what are active promotions for CF Moto. I can see their current offers. They're only good for a couple more days. And I can see my list of vehicles that qualify. So maybe it's a Z Force 900 Sport. I can see that there. I can see the details, make sure it's an eligible model. And even if I want to get back there to see that eligible model, print the brochure, talk about specs and features. Again, I could do that here and I could create my lead. So again, how promotions can be looked up and then tied back to the unit. Now that's a bit more of a manual, traditional kind of drop-down search way of doing it. And now we have the AI sales assistant. And the AI sales assistant is going to take all that data we had access to, all those brochures, all those promotions, and going to let you ask things in a bit more of a natural language. And here's where the power comes out. So we'll show a number of different examples here. Maybe somebody wants to come in and know the seat height of a CRF 110. I can click that here and I'll quickly get an answer from my AI agent letting me know the seat height. It will also give me an overview and highlights. So if you're going to ask me about the seat height, you're probably going to ask me about a price or a weight or something along those lines. It's going to tell me here what the overview and highlights for design, low seat height. It'll tell you even how to sell these features, emphasize the low seat height to parents and new riders as a confidence booster. You can see the colors it's available in, the price of those, and maybe some models that might compare that you might be getting shopped against in their MSRPs. And you can see here their seat heights are added in just in case you need to go down and say, yeah, as you can see here, the CRF 125 is 29 inches. The TTR 120 TTR 110 is 26.4, but we can see we got 25.9 here, so we're definitely lower on that seat. And I could then start to ask it other questions that think I might want to ask. What is the weight and transmission type? So I don't even have to type that natural language. It's going to tell me things that I might be getting ready to ask about. Well, if they're asking about this, they're going to ask about that, and it can do a similar type of thing, how to sell the features. So some great tools there. Now, at any point in time, you can reset your conversation by hitting this up here. It'll bring you back to the prompts. Now, I can also do things like ask for towing capacities. What is the towing capacity of a Can-Am Defender? And so it can see here, could you please specify which model you're looking for? And then it could tell me, well, maybe I'm looking for the DPS HD10. So it'll be good to make sure that you're clear about what it is you're looking for so you don't get the wrong information. And then again, we can see here our tow capacity, how to sell those features, and what the tow capacity is of maybe some of those competitors. And you can see here, it can automatically tell you exactly quickly how this model compares with, say, the Polaris XP1000, which could be considered a very comparable vehicle. And here we can see, just like in our manual process, we can start to get some side by side comparison. So we can see here our towing capacity is similar, but the payload capacity on the Can-Am Defender is better. And then you can see other side by sides comparison between the engines, MSRP, things like that. And it can give me a takeaway, right? Takeaway, both this and that have this information, making them top contenders. But however, it edges higher ahead with payload capacity, which is what we could see. And then it could talk about how to sell these features again. Highlight that both models are leaders in towing, but and again, I go to a training example again. If you're selling Can-Ams and you're selling against Polaris vehicles or vice versa, this can help you understand what you need to focus on, or what you need to focus maybe against what you're going to hear from a customer when they come to compare. And then again, I can come in here and say, are there any current promotions for that particular type of vehicle? And in this case, we still have some promotions available, most likely for in-stock 23s or used vehicles. So you can see what those promotions may be here, applicable models. And again, we could go double check by going to our promotion screen if we wanted to. So that's a great tool there. You can also ask for advanced selling tips, particularly on a particular vehicle. So we saw in our answers before how it might give us a selling tip on a question about seat height. But in this case, again, for training, hey, just tell me the best way for me to sell this unit, or what my customers would really need to know, that's the best. How many colors it's in, like again, the things I might be challenging against, how to sell these features here, position, advanced safety features, all these information that we can learn about, focus on the shark nose, bagger identity. Again, a great tool for getting some knowledge, so when your customers do come in, you can really dazzle them with your product knowledge, which is really important. And again, if you don't know everything, you can always quickly come here, and again, you could do something like compare it to another model quickly and say, how does the technology suite compare? And again, we'll start to see some information here about Apple iPlay and touchscreen and charger ports and all these great assists. I mean, imagine trying to look all this information up, and we're getting it in these one click takes here. And again, we can get takeaways. What's my takeaway? My takeaway is XYZ, that this is going to be better, that's going to be better. Again, I can see all my colors and my like models, and it can ask me if I want to dive deeper in, and I can go back here again and see what the takeaway is. Stands out with its massive 12.3 touchscreen. So, that might be something if you're selling the Rogue Light against the K1600 that you could focus on right away. So, again, great tools. And finally, I just want to touch on that you can also, for particular units, get used values. We've set this up to work with Kelley Blue Book to where, if available, it can give you a basic sense of what a used value is of a particular vehicle, and the same thing for some competitive vehicles. Again, you're going to see your takeaways. You might see some selling points, some other information. So in this case, I can see here that my typical trade-in is 85.65. A typical list price is 10,995, and it gives me a link to the source, so I can come over here and potentially see the vehicle. Not all the time does it take you to the exact link, and sometimes it will. So, but it's a great tool to just get some quick understanding if you're trying to get a quick sense. And here we can see like model comparisons, different years, different versions, and what those trade-ins may be. So again, just a quick tool and a takeaway here from that side. And finally, for those of you who like to use Foursquares, now you're not going to print this out for a customer, but if you're trying to get some general quick information, you can ask for, here's a Foursquare on a 2025 YZ250. And it's going to tell you what you need, right? So I have my selling price, so I can say, and I don't even have to type in full length, DP. It's going to know my DP is 500. Okay, and it says I need to know a trade-in value for the 2024 because I'm going to do a trade-in on this. So we can say my trade value is 4,000, and then it can ask me for my monthly payment or what my desired term is. And let's say with Yamaha, we know they're doing 6.99 percent at 48 months. So I can plug that information in. I can hit enter here. And then what you're going to see is it's going to build me a Foursquare here. Again, this isn't the printable Foursquare with all the psychology about signing and this and that. But if you're looking to give some basic information about what this may look like for a purchase, ultimately what I can see here is it gives my purchase price, my down payment, my trade-in value, my terms, how much is going to go to finance, my rate, and then an estimated monthly payment calculation. Tells you how it got there, principal, what it all is. So it's a great tool. And then here again, we have our Foursquare summary that could have told me I could expect around, $84 a month for this. So, and then again, some selling features if I need and like models, etc. So explore the tool. You can type in your own questions. You can use some prompt. It's going to give you more. It's a fun tool. It's an exciting tool. It can do a lot of things. Explore and find out what it can do for you.